Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Please can someone confirm that they can hear me? That you all can hear me? Please, can I have
Yes, I can
confirmation?
hear you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Good evening once again, and welcome to the first official class for our medical health tech and law session. This is the week one session for the third and fourth quarter of 2024. And we'll be running straight into the business of today, right? But before we do that, I would just like to introduce myself. My name is Dennis Williams, right? And I will be your moderator for this particular class. Uh, and moving forward, right, we'll just be introducing the mentor we'll be having for today. I can see that we have the class is still a little bit scanty. Please, I encourage all of us to reach out to our co-mentees, those we know that are not here in class, just to reach out to them quickly and let them know that the session will be starting, or it has already started rather. So I'll be reading out the profile of our mentor for this session. We are expecting one mentor for this session, and I'm sure he'll be joining us very, very, very soon. So,
Dennis, I'm here.
oh, all right,
Williams,
sir.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, all right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So, going straight to read our mentor's profile for today. Our mentor for today is Mr. Ebenezer Egwatu, Esquire. Ebenezer C. Egwatu is a legal practitioner, medical law consultant, certified mediator, a trained legislative drafter, and a passionate patient rights and safety advocate. He is the principal partner, Law Funds Multidisciplinary Consult, a firm that provides innovative legal solutions located in Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, Nigeria. He is also the founder and executive director of Lawyer Arise for the People Initiative, LAPI, a patients' rights and safety advocacy NGO. Ebenezer is a trained medical care assessor by International Medical Law Center, St. Kitts, North America. He is a member of the Nigerian Bar Association, member Medical Law Professionals Association of Nigeria, member Institute of Medical and Health Law member, Bioethic Society of Nigeria, member Patient Safety Africa, member World Association of Medical Law, and member Association of Legislative Drafters and Advocacy Practitioners. He currently serves as the chairman, Health and Medical Law Committee, Nigerian Bar Association, Garki Branch, Abuja. He the Public Relations Office, Institute of Medical and Health Law, and the legal team lead for Hospitals Work campaign, Make Our Hospitals Work campaign, a citizen-led community-based advocacy to improve the quality of healthcare services in hospitals and primary healthcare facilities across Nigeria. He trains doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals on promoting patients' rights and avoiding medical negligence. He is an avid reader, a researcher, and loves to serve God by serving humanity. Thank you so much, Mr. Ebenezer, for joining us. We are always happy to have you with us for every session and during every quarter. You have been a constant mentor with us, and we are happy to have you. You're welcome, sir. All right, so before we receive Mr. Ebenezer's presentation for today, we'll be going straight into the presentation for this class. We'll be going straight into the presentation for this class, and please, the group one presenter, please, you can start your presentation. Your presentation time is 7 minutes. I will be sharing your slide on your behalf, so you can kindly start while I share your slide. And the group two presenter, please also get ready. Once group one is done, we'll be calling in group two to make their presentation, and then we'll be having Mr. Ebenezer's talk or lecture on today's topic. So over to you, group one presenter. Presenter, are you with us? Presenter for group 1, are you with us? Okay, you are unmuted, but we cannot hear you speak. Daniel, if you can hear me, please kindly see if you can change your direction or the place where you are so that we can hear you better. Hello, Daniel, are you with us? Okay. It seems Daniel is having a little network issue. So while he's trying to fix his network, please can we have group 2 start the presentation while Mr. Daniel tries to work on his network, and we'll be having his presentation. So please, we would like to start with group 2. Please, group 2 presenter, if you're with us, you can kindly share your slides, or if you are not able to, I would try and see if I can help you with that. Who is the presenter for group 2?
Hello, I'm the presenter.
All right, so please, will you be sharing your slides, or should I help you with that?
Okay.
Na anko atene ana akakano akatakuru nini aboni agwawo
Hi.
anyika watanwa yere nini anko ewu abo amado ya ankariba nini ene mamo
Hello.
Where is that coming from, Dennis, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, I know the source. I know the source. Okay. I know the source. Okay, mute your mic. Thank you.
Please, if your mic is unmuted, please mute your mic. Sorry,
I know the source.
about that.
I know the source. Thank you.
All right. So please, can we have group 2 presenter come up to make presentation?
Hello, I'm group 2's presenter.
All right, please, you can go ahead and start.
Okay, so please, can I have a minute to just share my screen?
Okay,
I'd like to share the PowerPoint.
Okay, I'll be sharing.
Oh, you want to do that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so I can start.
Yes, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Please, I'd like to confirm you all can hear me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, my name is Rona and I'll be Group 2's presenter for today. I'll be presenting on the discourse Health Technology Law, Medical Ethics, Regulation and Compliance within the Private Sector, with case studies and examples to explain. So the objectives or the subtopics we'll be discussing on are definition of medical ethics, the pillars of medical ethics, regulatory bodies responsible, code of conduct of medical ethics in Nigeria, case studies, challenges, and limitations. Then, for us to start this discourse, I would like to explain the terminologies in this topic, which is health technology law, medical ethics, regulation and compliance. So firstly, what is health? So according to WHO, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. That is to say, as far as you are in a hale and active condition and you don't have any chronic disease, you are healthy. So the second term I would like to define is technology, and that is the application of scientific knowledge to practical aims of human life. Then the next is we have to marry the term health and technology together. So health technology or healthcare technology therefore includes all forms of medical equipment, devices, and consumables, as well as the organizational support and information systems used at all levels of healthcare delivery. This simply means the application of organized knowledge and skills in the form of devices, medicines, vaccines, procedures, and systems which are developed to solve or improve quality of life in the healthcare system. Some examples of health technology are electronic health records, personal health records, nanomedicine, 3D printing, which is specialized in splints and prosthetics. So to delve into today's discourse, which is medical ethics, regulation, and compliance within the private sector, I'd like to start by defining medical ethics. Sorry, excuse me. So, medical ethics basically refers to simply refers to knowledge of law and ethics in the treatment of patients. And according to my slide here, it is the disciplined study of morality in medicine and concerns the obligation of physicians and healthcare organizations to patients as well as the obligations of patients. Basically, what medical ethics entails, it's the principles of rights and wrongs. Ethics normally is principles like right, wrong, the procedures to do things and what have you in different fields of studies. And in medicine, we have ethics to follow. There are four major pillars of medical ethics, and they involve autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. Although there are other pillars which are upcoming, which is equity and confidentiality. But the major ones to do with in medical ethics are autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. So I'll like to let you know that I don't know if you guys really looked through our topics for this week. It is health technology law, medical ethics, regulation and compliance with the private sector and with the public sector, but I'll be dealing with the private sector. And I want you all to understand that medical ethics is all encompassing. That is to say that it goes both ways. That for the private sector and the public sector, it is still applicable in similar ways. So I'll start by explaining autonomy. Autonomy simply means self-rule. It is respect for patient's autonomy. That is to say, the medical practitioner ought to respect the patient's wishes and what the patient wants in carrying out their medical operations, anything regarding their health or what have you. The patient's opinion is always needed. I feel like autonomy is in close relation with consent. Yes, autonomy is in close relation with consent because a patient needs, in most cases, not all, needs to give his informed consent for any should I say medical procedure that will be carried out on the patient. The second one is justice. This simply means equality. The principle of justice in medical ethics refers to fair and equitable distribution of health resources. So this simply means that, take for example, our government might want to deliver healthcare amenities and what have you to the society. It's justice in medical ethics means that it should be equitably distributed to everybody. The third pillar of medical ethics is beneficence, and it is promotion for what is best for the patient. So the medical practitioner has the onus to advise, to while consultation, to advise and to inform the patient of what is best for him or her. Then the last one is non-maleficence. Non-maleficence simply means avoiding harm. So in all instances, in all medical cases, the medical practitioner should try, in as much as the medical practitioner wants to help the patient, the medical practitioner should try to avoid harm in all cases. That is, the end result of every medical procedure should be to the benefit of the patient. Please, can you go to the next page? Okay, guiding compliance to medical ethics. So if you our topic has to do also with the regulation and compliance to medical ethics in the private sector of health tech law in Nigeria. So there are different bodies or different legislations or laws or what have you that are guiding the regulation of health technology law. And in our slide, the first one is Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. The second one is Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. The third one is Medical Rehabilitation Therapies Board. The fourth is Radiographers Registration Board of Nigeria. And the last is Optometry and Dispensing Optician Registration Board of Nigeria. But I would like to bring to our notice some other laws or legislations in Nigeria that are still in line with the health technology laws. So I want us to know, it's paramount for us to know that health technology laws are still developing in Nigeria. That is to say, the technological part of healthcare system is still in the process of is still developing in Nigeria. So things are not really balanced. Let me put it like that. Some examples of those laws are National Health Act of 2014, Nigerian Data Protection Regulation of 2019. This has to do with patients' database. The third one is National Information Technology Development Agency of Nigeria, which ensures data security. The fourth is data privacy security, and we also have regulations that deals with intellectual property, telemedicine and digital health regulations, medical device regulations. So for the intellectual property, I know most of us will be confused, like what does IP have to do with healthcare systems? But you know that being that our discourse is centered on health technology, it is right for us to note that there will be some advent of some, let me say, devices, some equipment, some technological advancements that will be added into the healthcare system that are owned by private companies, that are owned by private individuals, that are owned by startups and inventors. So the intellectual property aspect helps to safeguard the trademark and copyright to prevent, will I say, theft of all these inventions, because this is what health tech has to deal with. Sorry, Mr. Dennis, please, can you take it to the next page, please? Okay, yes. Okay, I've already explained this. Okay, code and conduct of medical ethics in Nigeria. I've explained the four major pillars: autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. And there are some other ones like equality. Equality is just like justice, and confidentiality simply seems to say that I don't know if we have law students or lawyers here. We understand that the doctor patient relationship is a fiduciary relationship, so whatever that is discussed should not be disclosed to someone else. So there is a case study here, a case study. I can't really see it, so please just give me a minute to get it on my phone and zoom it. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Dennis. So I really can't read what's there because of time, but I'll just give an overview of it. So this is an illustration on medical ethics. It's explaining how beneficence overrides autonomy, because sorry, not beneficence overriding autonomy. Yes, autonomy overriding beneficence, because Autonomy simply means self-rule, respect for patients, patients' reach and what have you. I don't know if you guys will be informed with situations of Jehovah Witness. Let's now go to law and medicine. So Jehovah Witness, for example, they go against blood transfusion. So as a doctor or a medical practitioner, you won't say that, oh, because you are a doctor, you are not going to bring the idea of blood transfusion to the patient because the person is a Jehovah Witness, therefore the person is going to reject it. As a doctor, you have the responsibility of still telling the patient what's in his best interest. And even if you have told the patient what is in his best interest, the patient's autonomy, that is the patient's decision, still overrides what you have informed the patient about. That is just like a brief illustration of this scenario, of this example. So please can we go to the next slide, please, because of time. The next page. Okay, limitations to compliance. This first, yes, limitations to compliance to medical ethics. So these laws, these regulations have been made for healthcare people in the healthcare sector to comply, people in the healthcare sector to adhere. But in instances where these laws are not adhered, it creates lacunas in the healthcare system. And if I read what is here, they say the prevalence of barriers, concluded management barriers is 75.17%, environmental barriers 80.2%. So this just tries to explain to us that there are various limitations due to the non-compliance of the regulations that have been stated, the regulations that have been given for people in the healthcare sector to adhere to. Please, can we go to the next slide, please? Yes, this is ways to improve adherence to medical ethics. So the first one is to create a multidisciplinary committee. The second is to write out policies, procedures, and schedules. The third is to perform internal audits, implement a robust education programs, measure compliance programs, performance. So these are examples or ways in which we can improve adherence to medical ethics. That is the laws or the procedures that have been given, the pillars and everything that have been given by the law for us to go by in promoting healthcare technology. These are examples of ways to improve adherence to it. And there are some other ways in which compliance in the private sector can be improved, which are through compliance programs, risk management programs, ethical compliance, reporting and accountability, and patients' rights and advocacy. So this has brought us to the end of my discourse today, but I would like to conclude by saying that in the private health sector, the interplay between health technology law, medical ethics, regulation, and compliance is critical for ensuring that healthcare delivery is safe, effective, and ethical. As health technologies continue to evolve, private health providers and companies must stay vigilant in their adherence to the frameworks, balancing innovation with the needs to protect patients' rights and uphold high standard of care. By doing so, the private health sector can contribute positively to overall healthcare outcome while maintaining public trust and regulatory compliance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Runo. Sorry, please, can you just help
Rona.
me? Rona, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
Rona. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much for helping me out with your name. So a wonderful presentation from your end, and I want to say well done to you and to your group members for putting together that presentation. We'll be having feedbacks from Mr. Ebenezer once group one is done with the presentation. So please, Mr. Daniel, right, if you are ready for us, we are ready for you. So please, you can take up the presentation. Mr. Abba Daniel, are you with us?
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
But are you hearing me clearly now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, I think you can share the slide. Thank you very much.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Okay, sorry, I'm in emotion now, so but I can't share my screen because I'm in emotion now. Sorry
Yes,
about
but
that.
can you see mine? Can you see mine?
Yes, I can see the screen now.
Yes. All right. Please go ahead and continue.
Okay, so my name is Abba Daniel. So I'm talking about health technology law, medical ethics, regulation, and compliance. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So these are just the definition of some terminologies here. That's health technology law, medical ethics, regulation, and compliance. Next slide. So when we talk about health technology law, also because of the brevity of time and because of the time frame that has been allocated, so I didn't actually segregate them one by one. But looking at the term health technology law actually is a kind of a body that actually helps to regulate the public sector and the private sector in terms of health operational system. So this health technology law helps to guide and govern some of the activities that are being carried out in the health sector, and some of the scientific equipment has to be used in order to bring this goal to be achieved in medical sector. That's why you see that, and some of this applying scientific medical knowledge to practical use. So the health and the technology, they have to work pari passu, they have to work together so as to be able to achieve a determined goal. So that's why the health alone cannot work without technology. So that's why even in the health sector, some of the scientific application or equipment are being used to actually arrive at a precise goal to actually see that the the health sector is being carried out as it ought to be appropriately. So the next slide, please. So medical ethics. When you look at the word medical ethics, ethics itself is not something that can be learned maybe in the book. Ethics itself, medically, is something that is being done practically. So this is for example, a medical doctor now, maybe an apprentice has been assigned to a medical firm. So for him to actually get the ethics is something that he has to be there personally and be watching how the doctor is carrying out operation to see how he can actually observe. There must be an observation critically to see how those things are being done. These are where he learned the ethics. Not reading it in book alone is not enough. So he has to be with a medical doctor to see what he has been doing. These are places he will learn the ethics. Personally, I have experience. I will actually work in the lab for some time. We had an operation. We have to remove some fibroid and what have you. So while we are doing that, so the doctor, we are watching at the doctor, trying to observe, okay, what are the processes, what are the things he do. So we observe that before he actually carry out the operation, he has to actually give anesthesia. And the essence of this anesthesia is to actually reduce the pain so that even while the operation is carried out, the patient won't feel the pain of whatever is being done on him. So these are ethics that you learn. It's not something you just read in a book, but practically now we saw exactly what we need to do in terms of medical ethics. That's why medical is a discipline study of morality in medicine and concerns the obligation of physician and patient. So it's actually dealing with the physician, that's the medical personnel, and how he's treating the patient in accordance to the ethics in medical. The next slide, sir. So now these are 4 pillars of medical ethics. So when I say 4 pillars, these are they are key, they play a major key role in medical ethics. That's why they are known as the pillars of medical ethics. Now, autonomy. Autonomy is likened to a situation in which the physician actually has respect for the patient. And now in this very autonomy section, now there are situations whereby the patient is not able to take a decision by himself. As such a scenario or as such a case, the medical doctor sometimes take decision for incompetent patient that cannot take decision for himself. But nevertheless, respect is given to the patient. When we talk about the beneficence, it's actually is a is a kind of a setting or a situation in which the physician is actually meant to do good to the patient. That means on no account should he do anything that will harm the patient. So because now he has to do it because there are some laws that have been laid down that he must obey them. So no matter what the patient behavior is, as a medical personnel, he has to obey and ensure that the patient is treated accordingly as it ought to be done without any bias or any preferential treatment. The third one is non-beneficence. That is actually this one now I'm talking about is a kind of situation in whereby the medical personnel is not meant to harm the patient for any reason. He has no that right is not there because that's why some laws are being set down so that they sign some laws before they even been assigned as a medical personnel. There's a law that gives them. They have to sign it to okay. These are these. They have to sign it yes to adhere that okay. I so and so have adhered that I will do this with the whole of my life and other things like that. They have to sign that very appropriately. So they have no right to harm their patients. Then the last one now in this place is justice. Justice is a situation where by the physician is meant to treat the patient equally. So he doesn't treat patient A different from patient B. He treats every patient equal. That means patients have the right to be treated equally by the physician. So the physician doesn't give any preferential treatment to any patient. So any patient, he must treat them equally and equitably. Thank you very much. The next slide, sir. Now, these are three C's in medical ethics. The three C's in medical ethics, they play a vital role in medical ethics. Confidentiality. Confidentiality is something that if it's being jeopardized by any medical personnel, he can be jailed for that very action. Confidentiality. When they say confidentiality in this regard, it means that now the physician must be able to keep whatever details the patient gives to the physician. He must guard it jealously. Even after the patient is dead, he must not disclose those information to a third party. If he does, and that has been observed or noticed.
Mr. Daniel, are you still with us? Mr. Daniel?
Definitely, the physician can go for some secret that originally they can't even tell a third party outside. So the physician has a major role to ensure that he never discloses those secrets to anyone anywhere. Now the next one is consent. Consent now. So whatever normally this one is majorly seen in operational system. Maybe when they're about to carry out an operation and what have you. So they must take consent from the patient. So the physician has no any right to just go ahead and work on the patient without having his consent. No, if he does that, he can actually go for jail for that also. Because it's a particular scenario whereby a woman was actually developed a swollen hand, and they call it sarcoma. Sarcoma is a kind of unusual cancer. It's an unusual cancer. So, and before you know, they were after many consultations. So the physician was actually asking the patient if this hand should be cured, you have to amputate this hand. So now that step you take out is a consent. So the physician cannot just say, okay, since this is the solution, this hand should be amputated. No, he has to ask the patient. The wife is the one in challenge here. So he has to ask the husband, solution to this your wife problem is that the hand wants to be amputated. So the man said, no, I don't want this hand to be amputated. I want my wife hand to remain. We pray over it and we show that something miracle can happen. So that was the consent. If he just go ahead and cut the hand, definitely that will be a tragedy on his own regard. Then the last one here is capacity. Capacity, when we talk about capacity, is a situation in whereby the physician that is responsible for carrying out an operational system must have the ability to do so, must have the capacity to do so. In a situation whereby he's not able to carry out the task before him. He must be able to call a senior personnel, a senior medical personnel, to help him in that regard. For no reason will he go ahead to go out, go on with any operation if he has no capacity in that regard. So if you don't have capacity, he has to call a higher personnel, medical personnel than him to actually carry out the operation in view. So the next slide, father of medical ethics. So this is Hippocrates. Hippocrates is considered a father of medical ethics because of the many contributions he has brought to medicine. So that's why, because of the major contribution he has brought to medicine, that's why he's considered the father of medical ethics, because he has played a key role in the line of medicine. And that's why they have to give him the father of medicine, because of the things he has achieved over time. The next slide, sir. Now we'll talk about regulation and compliance. Regulation and compliance. So whatever medical bodies have, or every not medical bodies, every other bodies, they have regulation and guidelines on what they must abide to. So they don't just do things anyhow. They do things based on the regulation. Now this is simply the process of adhering to laws and regulations, standards, and other rules that have been set by government and other regulatory bodies. So they have to obey this very regulation and comply with because as a physician, there are regulations and on things you must comply to. That's why there are some document that's been released. They will be given to the physician to sign it, even when it's being sworn as a medical personnel. There are some documents they give him to sign. This document now contains regulation and compliance, the things that the do's and the don'ts. He must strictly obey them adequately. So this one beneath, I just put SON, NAFDAC, and NDLEA. So these are actually bodies that actually, because this SON, personally, I've worked with SON, and sometimes we actually, all those people that actually produce fake drugs and other things, they actually actually ensure that standard things are being produced. These are actually regulatory bodies that ensure that these things are being governed and are done appropriately. The same thing goes with NAFDAC, and the same thing goes with NDLEA, National Drug Law and Enforcement Agency. So the next slide, sir. The next slide. Okay, thank you very much. Now, regulation and compliance. So as I earlier said, in medical ethics, regulation and compliance must be duly maintained between the below bodies or parties involved, physician and patient. Yes, as I earlier, it's not like the four pillars I've earlier explained. It's not like the four pillars I've earlier explained. These physician and patients, the regulation must be well adhered to. So as I earlier said, the physician cannot carry out any operation of the patient without proper consultation or consent from the patient, and equally the patient and the society. So in terms of how you relate to society, based on what he carried out and the likes of it, he must actually adhere to all this regulation and comply all the dealings is dealing with the society and the environment at large. Then we have the physician and colleagues. So the physician and colleagues, they must treat themselves equally. They must be respect for one another. Very, very important. They must be respect one for another. Either is a junior or is a senior. They must be respect one for another. So the next slide. Yeah, actually, I stopped here because of the brevity of time. Because since I know that we are still right, the article contains major of the details. So with this, I've spent more than 7 minutes already. But thank you very much for listening. I do appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for stepping in. You were not assigned as the group presenter, but you were able to step in to make the presentation on behalf of your group. We say well done and thank you for your time. All right, so now we would like to hear from Mr. Ebenezer. Mr. Ebenezer, prior to now, has received your slide. He has gone through them, and he has also heard from you the explanations you have to give and the life you have had to bring to your slides. And we want to hear from Mr. Ebenezer on his discourse for today and him talking about what he thinks about your presentation and how well you did while presenting.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Confirm, please.
Yes, good evening, sir. We can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, I want to firstly congratulate all the participants for your efforts. It is gratifying to see that you could make such efforts. However, Of course, why we are here is to guide and correct. Let me start with the last. Okay, firstly, can you all introduce yourselves, please? We will come back to the slides. Just introduce yourself, just turn on your video, introduce yourself, why you are doing this program. If you are a student, your name, your institution, your level, and why you are doing this program. Quickly, let's do that. We have how many people here? I can see 11. I know that includes the facilitators. So in no particular order, just turn on your video.
Okay.
Abba Daniel, you can go.
My name is Abadan Olochebe. So, and I am a microbiologist. So, and currently I work with a real estate company, but I actually wanted to I still work with medical, because I am a microbiologist.
Are you the one that presented for group 1?
Yes, I am the one, sir.
Okay. So, but I can't see you.
Yes, sir.
Kindly turn on your
I'm
video.
in emotion. I'm in emotion, so that's why I don't want. Yes,
okay,
that's what,
awesome.
Yes.
In our subsequent class. Okay, you said you are a microbiologist. What level?
No, I'm a graduate. I'm not a student.
Okay, you are done. Okay.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not a student. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Next, Asha. Asha who, please? Asha, can we have you introduce yourself? Hello, is Asha on the call?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Asha, please introduce yourself.
Olade Jayobami. And I'm a law student from Elizade University.
Which school?
Elizade University.
Awesome. Next, please. Okay, what level? Asha, what level?
400 level, sir.
400 level. Why did you decide to take this course?
Because I just want to learn more, because this is my first time coming across it. Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Next, yes, please. Blessing Ezibe. Okay, Blessing, you have the floor. Kindly introduce yourself. Blessing, can you hear me? Blessing Ezibe.
Oh, Blessing, you're muted. While we can you unmute Blessing? Yourself?
Blessing, you are muted. Okay, go ahead, Blessing.
Okay, I'm a 200 level law student of University of Nigeria. My name is Ezibe.
So why did you? Yes, why did you decide to take this course?
Okay, I choose to take this course in law health technology law to actually my knowledge more on the course on the issues relating with health and law.
Okay.
If I put it well.
Does your school do medical law? Does your school offer medical law at LLB?
No, I am a law student of University
I am
of
aware.
Nigeria, 200.
I am aware you are a law student. I say, does your school do medical law as a course?
No.
Okay.
We don't do
Great.
it.
Okay.
Graduates.
Edikan, right? Edikan Aswama, I hope I got the pronunciation. Thank you, Blessing. Glad to have you on board. Edikan.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, my name is
Edikan, your video is not on.
Yes, because I'm Eastern where I am in Ghana.
Okay, let's meet you.
Yeah, my name is Edikan Asoma. I'm a public health graduate. I'm currently serving at National.
You are a health graduate, School of Health graduate, you said?
No, I'm a BSc holder of public health.
Okay, public health, awesome. Which school?
University of Calabar.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so why are you here?
Okay, I'm here because I believe this program would mentor me and also expose me to training and transformative experiences from mentors. I just believe it will expose me to more.
It will, it will. I guarantee that it will. It will, it will. Thanks for coming on board. Okay, next is Hussein Wahab. Hussein Wahab. Hussein Wahab.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hello, Hussein. Can we meet you? Turn on
Yes,
your
you can
video,
move me.
please.
All right. So good afternoon. So
Good
Hussein
evening, sir.
Kende Wahab is my name. I'm a law student from Usman Davud University Sokoto, a 500 level
Awesome.
student and 500 level law student and immediate past IPL president. Yes,
500 level now.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. An immediate
And
past
immediate past
intellectual
what?
property law president of this in the school.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So why are you here?
The
You
reason
said
why I'm
Usman
here,
Danfodio, right?
yes, sir. The reason why I'm here
Your
is
school
that
does medical law.
no. So that is
Really?
one of the reasons why I actually chose this program, because there was time I'm struck between going for IP, intellectual property, and medical and technology. So for the fact that I have some insight in IP, I just feel like I should explore other aspects of law. So that's why I just be
Awesome.
like, okay, let me just go with medical and technology in order to know more about the aspects of law.
Okay. Igbin Esther. Igbin Esther, you are next. Can we have you, Esther? Thank you, Wahab. Glad to have you on board. Okay, while we wait for Esther. Ogenerona Omokere. I hope I got it right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. Good evening, sir. Good evening,
Good evening.
everybody. My name is Omokiri Ogeneruna Sharon, and I'm a 400
Okay.
level law student of Benson Idahosa University.
Okay.
So I decided to go for this internship because I'm on my summer holiday and I didn't want to go for a physical internship. So I scouted online for several virtual internships opportunity and I stumbled upon JIIPCC and I saw various or numerous courses there. I was thinking of thinking ADR, but then again, I think next year, I'll be doing a course on chartered arbitration, so I didn't want to jumble things up. I offered law and medicine in my 200 level, and it was an exceptional course. It was really very amazing.
Law and
So
medicine. Okay, your
I
school
said,
does law and medicine.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
sir. So it was really nice, and I needed to get more insight in it. So I hopped up on this opportunity.
Okay, great. Finally, Ono Udochukwu. I hope I got it right. Glad to meet you, Omokere.
Thank
Ono
you, sir.
Udochukwu. Ono Udochukwu, are you there?
Please, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm here, sir. Good
Esther
afternoon, Mr.
Igbini.
Benjamin.
Good evening, sir. Okay,
Thank
may
you.
we
It's a
meet
pleasure
you?
meeting you once again. Once again, it's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
meeting you once again on this space. We've met before, and I'm glad to meet
Remind
you
me,
again.
where?
Okay, that was in ethics and law, sometime in 2022 in Human Rights Commission, where we talked about the Freedom of
Okay.
Information Act.
You sat beside me.
Very correct, sir.
I recall. Counsel, how are you doing?
Very correct.
Great,
Much
great.
fine, and
Glad
you?
to. Glad to have you on board. Thank you very much. Okay,
Thank you so
Esther
much.
Igbin, are you on this call? Can you hear me? Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I will not be able to put my video on. I am going to run through what we have done today. Your presentation, some of you tried, some brought in extraneous materials. What's his name? Abba. I don't know where you were getting some of the things you were saying, but we will correct you. As you already know, my name is Ebenezer Egwatu. I am a medical law practitioner. Okay, no need of going through that. Let me just run through what I have. You will get the slides, so just pay attention. We are looking at the topic is overview of medical ethics, regulation, and ordinarily your topic is medical ethics, regulation, and compliance. But what I titled my own presentation, Overview of Medical Ethics, Regulation, and Compliance in Nigeria. So let's look at the overview of medical ethics. Medical ethics involves principles and guidelines that govern practice of medicine and the behavior of healthcare professionals. It aims to ensure that patient care is conducted with respect, fairness, and integrity. Mr. Abba, can you hear me? When you say that ethics is not is practical and you have to be there to see it, it's not totally correct. Do you understand? Ethics, as we will see, we will have more elaborate discussion on that. And when you get the slides, you will understand it better. So, when we talk about ethics, there are 4 key principles which you all got: autonomy, beneficence, malfeasance. Listen to my pronunciation. Ogene, listen to my pronunciation. Abba, listen to my pronunciation. Malfeasance, or rather non-malfeasance and beneficence. So get the correct pronunciation. Key principles. What is autonomy? Autonomy, when we talk about patient's autonomy, we're talking about the rights of the patient to determine what happens to his body. Not doctor doing what is in the best interest of the patients. Now, when there's a clash here, we have, before now, we used to have the principle of paternalism. Now, in the principle of paternalism, the doctor is the alpha and omega. The patient has no say. The doctor determines whether to cut off the leg of the patient or to cut off the hand of the patient, and the patient strictly had no say because the doctor was seen as alpha and omega, and there was this presumption or assumption sorry, excuse me, that the doctor is acting in the best interest of the patient. But with the growth of human rights in every sphere of human endeavor, the human rights influenced patients and healthcare service delivery. So a critical look had to be taken on the principle of paternalism, and the principle of autonomy came up, meaning that the patient is the owner of his body. The patient is the alpha and omega of his body. When we do patient's rights, you will see how these rights were broken into other rights, such as the right to refuse treatment. That is under principle of autonomy. The patient, if the patient does not authorize you as a healthcare professional, even a little as touch, you will be liable for either trespass or battery. Then beneficence is acting in the best interest of the patient by providing care that benefits them. Then non-malfeasance means is the principle of do no harm. That's the cardinal principle of do no harm. So as a healthcare professional, even of course, you know that maybe when you are having a surgical procedure on a patient, that is actually harming the patient. But the intention is to keep the patient alive. So when we say do no harm means a healthcare professional should not set out to harm or hurt a patient. Justice, that's the last one. Justice ensures fairness in distribution of healthcare resources and treatments. When we talk about ethical challenges, we will look at fairness again. Okay, meaning of regulation. Regulation in medical and healthcare profession refers to the formal rules, standards, and laws established by government bodies and professional organizations to govern the practice of medicine and healthcare. Now, these regulations ensure that healthcare professionals and institutions operate within a framework designed to protect the patient safety, uphold ethical standards, and ensure quality care. Now, regulation has a purpose. The purpose of regulation is to ensure that the healthcare professionals operate within a design framework that protects the safety of the patient, that upholds the ethical standards, and ensures that quality care is delivered. What is compliance? It involves adhering to these regulation standards and guidelines. It means that healthcare providers, institutions, and professionals must follow established rules and protocols, such as those related to patient care, record keeping, privacy, professional conduct. Then, the essence of, in essence, regulation sets the legal and professional boundaries. That is it, within which a healthcare professional can operate, while compliance ensures that these boundaries are respected and followed. That is it. While regulation sets the borderline, the professional borderline, compliance ensures that these borderlines are kept and followed. So what are the importance of compliance? One, patient safety. Importance of regulation and compliance, I put them together. It ensures patient safety. Now, if there is no regulation, if there is no compliance, you know, in Nigeria, we have this our local expression. If you do anyhow, you do what? Can you complete it for me? Who knows it?
See anyhow. You do
If
anyhow,
you do
you
anyhow,
see
you do
anyhow.
what?
You will say anyhow.
Beautiful.
You
So
say anyhow.
if there is no regulation and compliance, people will be doing anyhow in healthcare practice. And in doing anyhow, patients will be seen anyhow. So there will be chaos, there will be disorder. Healthcare providers or professionals will be conducting their services or delivering their services from the figment of their imagination. If you dream, whatever you dream, you come up, you want to do it, test it on a patient. But where there is regulation and standard and compliance, it ensures patient safety. Number two, quality care. Compliance with guidelines and best practices helps maintain high standard of care, ensuring that patients receive effective and appropriate treatment. There is no guesswork here. If it is not up to standard, it is not applicable. Then legal and ethical standard regulations enforce legal and ethical standards, protecting patients' rights. We will do patients' rights as a topic, and that's actually my core in medical law practice. So it protects patients' rights, ensuring the healthcare professionals act with integrity and accountability. For consistency and fairness, compliance helps standardize practices across different providers and institutions. Consistency and fairness. So it helps to ensure that standard practices is maintained across different institutions. So for the laboratory scientist, there is a standard. If there is no compliance with regulation, I want you to see the ripple effects of non-compliance or absence of regulation. If there is no compliance with regulation from the lab, it means that the laboratory result that will come out might not be correct. It's possible that a different ailment, because the person did not follow the regulatory standard or comply with that, it's possible he can inadvertently give Mr. A's results. Maybe Mr. A has malaria, then you end up giving him someone else's HIV results. 1. 2, it is possible that you did not get, we call it misdiagnosis. In fact, this year, World Patient Safety Day, how many of you have heard about World Patient Safety Day here? Anybody? Hello? Nobody. Okay. Have you?
Sir.
Okay. So World Patient Safety Day is 17th September of every year, starting from 2019, when the World Health Assembly designated 17th of September of every year as World Patient Safety Day to draw attention to the global concern of patient safety. And this year, the theme of this year's World Patient Safety Day borders around misdiagnosis. I have a case of a lady who went to hospital for treatment for laboratory tests. They diagnosed and said she had cancer of the breast. Based on that result, one of her breasts was chopped off. Then, for continuation of treatment, there's another test that was to be conducted. The hospital conducted the test but refused to release the result. Why? Because they discovered that this lady did not have cancer in the first place. And that was how this lady, till tomorrow, in fact, 22 years ago is when it was discovered that she didn't have cancer, that it was misdiagnosis. So we are talking about consistency and fairness here to ensure that the treatment, if the hospital, if the laboratory person followed the regulation and complied with guidelines, the results will not be wrong. The doctors will treat accurately and prescribe the right medication. The pharmacist will dispense the right medication, and the patient will get the right treatment and get well. But where there is inconsistency, the patient suffers. Trust and confidence, its adherence to regulation builds public trust in the healthcare system, as patients and stakeholders are assured that care is delivered safely and ethically. Then professional accountability. Regulation holds healthcare professionals accountable for their actions, providing mechanism for addressing grievances and disciplinary to discipline misconduct. For example, the Medical and Dental Council they have their Medical and Dental Council disciplinary tribunal. So if a doctor misbehaves, if a doctor does not follow the guideline or the regulation, the doctor can be disciplined by their professional colleagues. That is why the Medical and Dental Council is there, and it's one of the regulatory bodies we are going to look at this evening. Okay, definition of medical ethics. It is a branch of medicine that is concerned with practice of, medical ethics is the branch of ethics concerned with the practice of medicine and the behavior of healthcare professionals. That's all. It involves the study and application of moral principles. Basically, is this right? Is this wrong? What is right? What is wrong in this situation? It involves the study of the application of moral principles to the field of medicine to ensure that patient care is conducted with respect, integrity, and fairness. What are the key principles? We've talked about them before. Autonomy, respecting patients' rights to make informed decisions. So when we discuss consent, because I heard both of you, the presenters, talking consent. It's not just consent that we are concerned with. We are concerned with informed consent. So if the consent is not informed consent, then it is invalid. So respect patients' rights to make informed decisions about their own health care. This principle emphasizes the importance of consent and the right to refuse or choose treatment. What's the principle of beneficence? It is the obligation of the healthcare to act in the best interest of the patient by promoting good and providing benefits. This involves taking actions that contribute to the well-being of patients. Non-malfeasance, the principle is do no harm. So the healthcare professional does not set out to do harm to the patient. Now, do no harm does not mean that there will be no pains. But what is the primary intention of the healthcare professional is not to cause harm. Require healthcare providers to avoid causing harm to patients. This involves preventing and minimizing potential risks and adverse effects. Then, justice. How many of you remember, who here has ever taken chloroquine? Hello? Has anybody here taken chloroquine before? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. So please, we would like to have people interact with the class. So please, you can kindly respond.
My
when
class is
talking, sir.
engaging. I know. I don't just talk to myself, please. It's engaging. So I'm going to call names. Has anybody here taken chloroquine before?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I have, sir.
Okay. Who took chloroquine before?
Aye, sir.
May you not take chloroquine if you have not. William, then you took chloroquine before?
Yes, sir.
How did you feel when you took it?
Well, when I took the chloroquine, it was giving me to me with I think was it vitamin B complex.
No, Piriton. Have you taken chloroquine without Piriton before? That's the point I want to make.
Okay, yes, sir, I have.
Without Piriton.
Yes, sir, I have.
So how did you feel?
It was a very itching. I could not take my baths for I think 2 days because of how the itch.
Beautiful. So it is on the principle of do no harm. If they gave you chloroquine alone without Piriton, they already know the how you are going to react, the effect of chloroquine on the body. So the Piriton is to mitigate that itching reaction. Do you get it? That is the essence of the Piriton. So let's make progress. Justice, ensuring fairness in distribution of healthcare resources and treatment. This principle focuses on equitable access to healthcare and addressing disparities among different patients. You see, there are times that, most times, available resources are always scarce. It won't be enough. It is meager. It won't be enough. But resource allocation demands fairness. I don't know whether any of you here remember the time the son of former President Buhari had accident. Did you hear that? Did anybody hear that news?
Yes, I did.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, when he had accident, he was rushed to a hospital here in Abuja. Now, the principle of fairness requires, the principle of justice requires that all the doctors do not abandon other patients and come and focus on this one because he's the son of the president. Particularly if his condition is not that critical. So principle of fairness or justice demands that you treat everybody equitably, demands that you treat every patient fairly, demands that you pay equal attention to the rich and the poor patients based on their health condition. If there is only one during COVID, that's a better example, where oxygen was a big issue. Now, if there is only one oxygen tank or cylinder, you do not say, okay, this one is big man. Even though his case is not critical, you now carry that oxygen and go and put on him, removing it from the poor person. That is injustice, basically. So these 4 principles guide healthcare professionals making ethical decisions, remember it, and provide a framework for resolving complex moral dilemmas in medical practice. Okay, the thing is getting interesting. Common ethical issues in Nigerian healthcare professionals, in Nigerian healthcare service delivery. Did any group talk on this? Group 1 and 2, common ethical issues. I don't think so.
No, sir. No group did.
So, and that is where, that's the cross of this class. So that you know, it's not theoretical. These things are practical. What you deal with, what you encounter when you enter the hospital, but you do not know that that's what they are. Number 1, okay, in Nigeria healthcare service delivery, several ethical issues are prevalent. 1, access to care. Now, there is disparity in access to care, healthcare services, and this can occur due to socioeconomic factors. I just gave an example now, the rich and the poor, geographic location. There are people who are in interior villages that cannot access healthcare easily. Then availability of facilities. Ethical concerns arise when individuals or communities are unable to access necessary medical care due to these barriers. So, 1, have you wondered how come during election, every village, no matter how remote in Nigeria, they will have polling booths, they will have wards. That day, voting materials will get to them. But the same place that is too far, the same place the politicians go to get votes from, it is now too far for them to go and cite a hospital. Second is corruption and resource allocation. These are ethical concerns. 1 is access to healthcare. So, do the rich and the poor, do they have equal access to healthcare? 1 is even having this access to healthcare is twofold. 1 is having a healthcare facility present in the community or in the environment. 2 is when they get to a healthcare facility, do they have equal access to doctors? Will the doctor excuse himself even if the rich man comes 2 hours late and then shunt the line of the poor people that have been standing there for the past 2 hours and go and attend to the big man, especially where his case is not an emergency? Now, that is an ethical issue. Corruption and resource allocation. Corruption and mismanagement of resources can lead to inequitable distribution of healthcare services. This can result in shortage of essential medicines, inadequate facilities, and compromised patient care. Informed consent. People were talking about consent. The right thing is informed consent. This is to ensure that patients fully understand and consent to medical procedure. Now, getting the consent can be challenging. Issues include lack of proper communication, literacy barriers, and pressure on patients to accept treatment without adequate information. Now, one of the rights of a patient is right to information. When you talk about informed consent, you cannot talk about consent without information. And what information does the patient require to know or have regarding his treatment? 1 is the nature of the ailment. 2 is the treatment options available. 3 is the cost implication. 4 is the the patient's rights to decline treatment. 5 is the adverse effects of that treatment. If these 5 components are not contained in the information given to the patient's right to information has not been fully complied with or respected by the healthcare professionals. So it is when the patient has these 5 components contained, Madam, this is the nature of the ailment. 2, these are the treatment options available. You don't just come and say, this is the treatment option you must take, or because that is the only procedure your hospital can afford or your hospital has an expertise in. Maybe there are 4 different procedures, treatment options, but you want your hospital to treat that patient. You now restrict information to only the one your hospital can do. That is wrong. So, right to information demands that you give nature of ailment, treatment options available, cost implication of each treatment option, the probable side effect of each treatment option, and lastly, the cost implication, and lastly, the patient's rights. You have a right to decline this treatment. So it is when they have given this information, the patient will now decide to say, okay, this is the treatment I want. This is the side effect I can cope with. That is what we call informed consent. Now, some challenges, in fact, the Patient's Bill of Rights provides that the patient should be given information in the language he or she understands. Meaning that where a Gbagi woman goes to hospital, the doctor should be able to look for somebody who understands Gbagi language to interpret to Mama so that she can understand what is going to be done to her body. But to what extent do our healthcare professionals comply with these principles? Next is quality of care. We're talking about ethical concerns in Nigeria. We've discussed access, we've discussed corruption, we've discussed informed consent. Next is confidentiality, please. Confidentiality is basically protecting patients' information. So protecting patients' privacy is crucial, yet breaches can occur due to inadequate security measures or negligence. Ensuring confidentiality while managing and sharing patient information is an ongoing challenge. Then, quality care. Ethical concern often arise regarding quality care provided, particularly in under-resourced settings. Issues include substandard treatments, inadequate training for healthcare workers, and variation of care quality. Now, this is a serious matter, and sometimes it borders on corruption. Most of the times, it borders on corruption, either mismanagement or misappropriation of funds. So maybe a particular amount is released to equip the hospital. The contractor, in connivance, because he can't do it alone, in connivance with the hospital management, we reduce the fund and now use the remaining fund to buy substandard materials, substandard consumables, substandard equipment to furnish the hospital. So when you use that, you are getting a care that is less than quality. Another challenge is traditional medicine versus modern medicine. The coexistence of traditional and modern medical practices can create ethical dilemma, especially when traditional practice conflict with established medical standards or when patients are misled about the efficacy of treatments. Have you seen some ailments that will just say, no, this one, nah, just go. This one is traditional that does it very well. So it is an ethical challenge because sometimes the doctors will do their parts and they don't want this patient to die. They know that if this patient leaves the hospital, the patient will die. But patients' rights, patients' autonomy, demands that you respect the patient's wish, then let the patient go. So this is an ethical challenge. Then, issue of end of life, euthanasia. Ethical issues surrounding end of life decisions, including palliative care and management of terminal illnesses, can be complex when cultural beliefs and limited resources intersect. Now, how many of you are aware that there is a hotel? God help me, help me. Where is this again? No. Is it Australia? No. I will remember. There is a hotel now that should be Australia now. There's a hotel now that you can go there and kill yourself. How many of you heard about it? Hello? You are shaking your head.
No, sir, we haven't had.
Yes, sir.
There's a
I've
hotel
not heard
now.
of it too.
It's in Australia
You didn't ever
where you
had it.
can go and kill yourself. As in, while you are going there, you are going there to die. That's why you left your house, to go and die. So they have whatever equipment you want to use. They have every equipment you want to use to kill yourself. So once you go there, in fact, if you want to use knife, if you want to use gun, if you want to use poison, if you want to, however you want to kill yourself, and people pay. You know, these Yoruba men can be crazy. Now, in Nigeria, euthanasia is a crime. Euthanasia is what we call mercy killing. Euthanasia is just out of pity. This person has suffered for so long, and it's a terminal illness, and the person has been on life support. The children are spending money. We know that there will be no reversal. So instead of continuing to watch the family waste money, particularly when the person is on oxygen or life support machine, instead of all that, why don't you just pull that life support? Just pull the wire and the person dies. The person is at peace. The family, though grieving, will stop spending money. Now, that's the philosophy, mercy killing. But it is a crime in Nigeria because up till now, euthanasia is murder, to deliberately take the life of another person. And that is contrary to section 33 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which guarantees right to life. There are two types of euthanasia. There is active euthanasia, there is passive euthanasia, but that's not the subject. So just look, now these are ethical issues. When the children keep spending money, this woman has been in the hospital for 2 years, for 3 years, and they know at the end of the day, this sickness, she will not come back. It is terminal. So they have to decide whether to end the life or continue treatment. Next, regulatory bodies. Okay. Regulatory bodies for healthcare service delivery in Nigeria. The Ministry of Health is the primary regulatory body. The Medical and Dental Council, Ministry of Health, provides overall policy direction and oversight for healthcare systems, including implementation of health policies and programs. So they are number one regulatory body. Then 2, the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, they regulate the practice of medicine and dentistry. Now note that they do not regulate hospitals. They regulate the practice of medicine and dentistry, including licensing, accreditation, and discipline of medical professionals. Then Nursing and Midwifery Council, the same thing, regulate nursing profession. You have the National Health Insurance Authority. The current one is National Health Insurance Authority Act 2022. You see people writing National Health Insurance Scheme because they have refused to update their knowledge. So they regulate and oversee implementation of health insurance schemes aiming to provide accessible and affordable healthcare coverage to Nigerians. You have NAFDAC, National Agency for Food and Drug Administration Control. They regulate the quality and safety of the food, the drugs, and other related products, ensuring they meet national standards. Then you have Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria. They regulate the practice of pharmacy, including licensing of pharmacists and pharmacies, and ensuring adherence to professional standards. Then you have the National Primary Healthcare Agency, that small hospital that is in your village. Those small hospitals that is in your villages, they focus on primary healthcare. In fact, that's the basic. That's supposed to be the first port of call. That there is something, healthcare emergency, that's the first place to go. Except if it is a tertiary matter.
Mr. Ebenezer, are you with us?
Sorry, the system logged me out. I am back. So what's the last thing you heard? I was on primary healthcare. Did you get that?
Yes, sir. That was the last thing we had, sir.
Okay. So primary healthcare. I am saying that the primary healthcare agency in your hospital is so primary, the basic within the environment. So if there are healthcare challenges, that's the first place to go. But because we have refused to fund our primary healthcare, that's why people go to secondary, which are the state hospitals, then tertiary, which are the teaching hospitals. Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, we saw the role they played during COVID. They are regulatory body. The other regulatory body, in fact, all the branches or different disciplines in healthcare profession, they have every act we do with the legal framework. So you understand. For NDC, NCDC, they do disease surveillance and control. They do public health guidance. They do data collection and analysis. They do capacity building. They collaborate and coordinate with other areas. You remember when, before COVID, there was Ebola. Then NCDC kept giving guidelines on what to do. Okay. Legal frameworks for medical practice, relevant laws and regulations. For you to practice medicine in Nigeria, firstly, the act that establishes the practice of medicine in Nigeria is the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act. That's the number one law when it comes to practice of medicine. For nursing and midwifery, the Nursing and Midwifery Act, for Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria Act, the same goes with laboratory scientists, physiotherapists, all of them, they have their Establishment Act. So that's the number one regulatory legal framework. Then you have the National Health Act. Firstly, for Establishment Act, they establish that area, that discipline of medicine. Then the National Health Act talks about procedure, the relationship between healthcare service providers and their patients, the procedures. Then we talked about the National Health Insurance, the National Health Insurance Authority Act 2022. Then patients' rights generally. For now, all our patients' rights are not contained in a single document. We have different laws. The National Health Act being the principal. Then we have the compulsory treatment Compulsory Treatment and Care for Gunshot Victims Act 2017. We talked about the treatment for gunshots, victims of gunshots. Then we have the HIV and AIDS and Anti-Discrimination Act, which provides and protects the rights of persons living with HIV/AIDS. We have the National Health Insurance Authority Act, which regulates the implementation of health insurance and all that. So there are different legal frameworks that regulate different areas of medical practice. Then compliance. We have talked about the laws. We have talked about regulation. Let's talk about compliance now. Healthcare professionals in Nigeria must adhere to several compliance requirements. One is registration, licensing and registration. Now, for you to be a lawyer, for you to be a medical doctor, a medical and dental practitioner, you have to be registered and licensed to practice by the Medical and Dental Council. So licensing, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria licenses doctors. Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria licenses nurses and midwives. Pharmacists are licensed by the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria, and so forth and so on. Then, two compliance requirements. One is licensing. Two is continuing professional development. So as a healthcare professional, you should be periodically trained to upgrade your knowledge. So as you work, if there are new developments, new areas, you go for seminars to upgrade your knowledge in that area. So there is need for continuous professional development, CPD. Three, adherence to ethical standards. So even if you have been licensed, you are doing your professional development, you must adhere to ethical standards. Number four, compliance with local health regulations. So you also have to healthcare providers must adhere to various local and national health regulations, including those concerning infection control, sanitation, and handling of medical wastes. There is a way to dispose medical wastes. Thank God we have a microbiologist here. You don't just dispose it anyhow, because if you do, you can infect the community. So there are guidelines on how to dispose medical waste. So if a hospital is sited within a community, the hospital must comply with that regulatory guideline on waste or medical waste disposal. We have operational standards. So you must follow that operational standard. You have data protection. These are regulations. You must also follow the data protection. Then we have insurance issues. Professionals may be required to have malpractice insurance. This one is more applicable, not more applicable though. This one happens more in developed countries, the US, the UK, because there medical negligence litigation is a serious matter. So they keep slamming them with high damages to pay. So they now get insurance companies to bankroll those damages. So where there are issues of insurance, you have to comply. Where your hospital is supposed to be insured, you have to comply. Then reporting obligation. Healthcare professionals are required to report certain types of health condition cases. You know, part of your right as a patient is confidentiality of your medical status. Now, there are also exceptions to that right. One of that exception is public interest. Another exception is requirement of law. So we are talking about the MPOS now. God forbid, they say there are about 40 cases in Nigeria already. But if it spreads, if someone walks into hospital and the person is tested, how did we get to know about Ebola firstly? Stella Adedevo, God bless her. So last week Saturday, we had a program on X, Twitter, in honor of that wonderful heroine, because she saved Nigeria from Ebola. She was the person that dictated the librarian. Now, if she didn't raise alarm, that man would have caused more harm. So the issue is, as a healthcare professional, part of your compliance is reporting. If there is, you tested somebody and there is maybe an epidemic or a pandemic, rather, that it is an outbreak of a pandemic, and you see carriers, you are obligated to report that to a larger health authority so that the appropriate preventive action can be taken to mitigate the impact. Because if you don't do that, you are putting the entire country in jeopardy. So that is that. Then we now look at compliance requirements, certification, continuing education. We've discussed that. Challenges in regulation and compliance, lack of resources. It's a big challenge. Lack of resources. 2, inconsistent enforcement. It's a big challenge because Nigeria is big. Where do you start from? While you are doing there are remote villages, even in this Abuja, that people have stayed here. There are some days you will just hear one name. You say, which part is this one again? Do you get it? So the enforcement is they're just within the city center, within the urban areas. What about the interior? I think 2-3 years ago, a woman was parading herself as a fake doctor. Firstly, she was parading herself as a fake soldier and also as a doctor in Buhari here, claiming to be soldier and doctor. All fake. She was apprehended. So, but those are within city center. So inconsistent enforcement. Then corruption is key. Corruption. Some places they will catch them and they will settle them and it ends there. So corruption is a major challenge. Then limited public awareness. Some of you are hearing some of the things I'm talking about for the first time. So if you are hearing it for the first time, how much more the other people who have not heard? In 2012, we went for HIV/AIDS campaign awareness in a community called Pape in Abuja. Now, not just Pape. When you get to Pape, you now go to the main place we went to. I'm trying to remember the name of the community. God help me. Jukoko in Pape. Now, in 2012, I was interviewing young ladies of 25, 26, 30. They say they have not had HIV and they are in Abuja. Limited public awareness. So if somebody as at 26 years old, 27, firstly, these ladies cannot speak English. They could not. And if it even constituted a barrier to some of the questions we wanted to ask. So we couldn't ask them whether they whether they have a multiple sexual partner, because we don't even know the culture around the place. So there's a boy of about 10, 12. He was the person interpreting to us. So for us, we will ask him question in English. He will talk to the girls what we've asked. The girls will now ask us back, answer him. He will reply us. So limited public awareness is a serious challenge. Then recent developments in technology. There are technological advancements. I will put some on the group. There are some old videos I have posted on the group in previous sessions. In Ghana, Ghana has a drone that delivers medication. So if you are, say, in Abuja, and you want this medication in Gwagwalada now. Let's say in Nyanya, that's where we have this hold up. Let's say somebody's a massacre and they need a medication, and National Hospital has that medication, or HMedis has that medication, and they want to deliver it in massacre, and there is hold up. Ghana has a technology that can go and deliver that medication in record time. So a group talked about, I think it's group 1 that talked about technology. Yes. So technological advancement is a serious issue. Nigeria is really lagging seriously behind in terms of invention and in terms of utilization. Because other people can invent, let us even utilize it. So that is where continuous professional development comes in, so that you are not rusty in your practice. So how do we improve? What's the role of technology in compliance? 1, database. 2, if we have a timeline. For us in MBA, if we are doing every year, you pay your practicing fee. If you did not pay your practicing fee before 31st of March, it means that year you do not have a right of audience in court as a practicing lawyer. So that year, it means from 1st of April, no judge should hear you, because that year you are not fit to practice law. So there is a timeline within which to pay your practicing fee. So for me here, using technology to improve compliance will be something like having clockings. If you have a data hospitals and whatever they are supposed to do, regulatory compliance, you give them timeline. Then you automate it. If hospital A does their own and they click, it will show that they have complied. Now, when they have all clicked to comply, whether they told the truth or lied, you allow them to even accept that they have complied. Then you can now do your enforcement by going around to check whether their compliance is up to standard. But if you bring money for that now, snake will swallow it, or termites will eat the money in Nigeria, or monkey will swallow it. Best practices for healthcare professionals. 1 is adhering to ethical standards. 2 is staying up to date with regulations. I was talking somewhere and I was surprised that some healthcare professionals do not know about the existence of the National Health Act. I was surprised. So, staying up to date with regulations. What are the policies that are coming up in your sector, in your area? Just stay up to date. Number 3, engage in professional developments. As we speak now, all the lawyers, the Nigerian lawyers are having this thing now, national conference, annual general conference going on in Lagos. You either participate physically or you participate virtually. Now, development, new areas of development in law will be discussed in that conference. There are also lawyers who, for them, it's a waste of money. They will not participate. So they don't know the professional development. They don't know what is happening within their sector. About 3 weeks ago, or 4 Sundays ago, I reviewed an agreement, a partnership agreement. And in that agreement, the lawyer who drafted it was making reference to a 2004 law, Arbitration and Conciliation Act 2004. Whereas the applicable law is Arbitration and Mediation Act 2023, last year. And I was like, I have to correct it. Why? The person is not in tune with what is happening. that there are new laws. The same way with medical practice. So if you are not in tune, if you don't engage in professional development, you won't know the new frontiers. You won't know the progress that is being made. You will just be rusty. So in conclusion, we have seen the importance of medical ethics, that it is not just what we read in books. It is what affects us individually as human beings, as healthcare service consumers. Everybody here have taken at least vitamin C. Everybody here has at one point or the other been immunized. So we are healthcare service consumers. And all of us, whether we admit it or not, are potential patients. While I believe in God and pray to God, I do what I'm supposed to do so that I do not get ill. Talk more of falling into the hands of a healthcare professional who is not keeping to regulation. So healthcare professional is important. I say healthcare professional. Medical ethics, regulation and compliance is important. And we should all strive to share this information. You have participated in this training now. So I charge you not necessarily to go and start fighting doctors, but you already know. So thank you very much. If there are questions, I would like to take them.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ebenezer. Sorry to interject for the question and answer segment. We will not be able to take questions because we have a patent drafting class coming up, I think in there about 10 minutes. So, sir,
Okay.
please, we would just like to crave your indulgence that the questions should be sent privately to the WhatsApp.
Yes,
So
send it on the WhatsApp platform.
Yeah, so please, if you have questions, please, you can send it to the WhatsApp platform, the Health Tech and Law group, main group. Mr. Ebenezer is a part of us on that group, and I'm sure Mr. Ebenezer will do well to attend to your questions. So please, before we go, for those that are in attendance, please, I would like to ask that we turn on our videos so that we can just take a quick screenshot to mark your presence in this class and for your social media postings. So please, I would like to crave your indulgence to turn on your video so that we can take a quick screenshots and call it a day or a night rather. Thank you, Mr. Abba.
It's not already.
All right, I will be taking one more. Okay. All right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much to every member that was able to participate in today's class. I'm sure you learned quite a lot from Mr. Ebenezer. Do well to share what you have learned on your social media platforms. Reach out to Mr. Ebenezer. He's, like I said, he's on the platform. You can ask him questions. You can connect with him. Mr. Ebenezer has been a wonderful part of our program, and he has done well to receive mentees even after the program in his private under his private dealings. So please, you can connect with Mr. Ebenezer. If you have further questions, you can reach out to him. Thank you very much for attending today's class. We will look forward to seeing you in the next class. Good night, everyone, and take care.
I sincerely apologize for taking 30 minutes. I think that's what affected us. Next Sunday, it won't be so. I was somewhere, we were supposed to start by 4, but I needed to rush back home so that I meet up.
20 centimeter.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, do have a blessed time.
This
All right.
thing where 32
thank you very much, sir.
16 here.